I'm okay with speaking. I've done a lot of it in the years since I've been released, but something I don't say that I thought of now is that you always feel vulnerable forever. There's always the chance that, I don't know, maybe somehow they'll find some reason to take you back, you think, somehow, because they're mad that you got out and you exposed what they did. So that's always somehow there, whether people admit it or not. I think it's always there. And also there's this thing where you're always subject to someone coming up and saying, well, I don't think you really were innocent, because there was this and this and this, and that can happen. It happened to me recently, where this woman came, this is horrible, this woman came to my door with an armload of roses, and she said that she had been a witness at Jesse's execution, and she needed to speak to me. And it had haunted her for years, and I invited her in, of course, and we sat at my kitchen table. And we talked, and I said, listen, whatever you need to say to me, you go ahead and do it. And she said, yeah, but it could be pretty horrible. I could describe it moment by moment. I said, no, I don't need to hear that. If you really don't need to tell me. And then it turned out at the end of an entire day, a friend of mine looked up her name and rang me back and said, she was at his execution, but she's an investigator. She's a private investigator, and she's not telling you the whole truth. Sure enough, I finally said, I looked up something last night online because she said she wanted to write a book about her experience. I said, and I always like people who have written something to read it to me themselves, because then I know exactly how they meant it to be read. So would you mind reading me that article you wrote about the play The Exonerated, which was about people who were wrongly convicted, where she trashed the whole thing, especially me. Oh, she said, well, that was a long time ago, and I've learned things since then. I said, well, really, tell me then. What have you learned since then that's, because you wrote this terrible article. Anyway, she was exposed. She then admitted that she was doing some sort of legal research, although I still don't know why. About a month later, she showed up in Australia at my son's sword fighting practice. He does sword fighting. and ambushed him and started asking him questions. Now, he was 9 when this happened, so he was horrified. He felt so afraid that she was going to try to make it look like maybe he was the guilty party. I mean, it was horrendous. Then I had to warn my daughter, who was only a baby when everything happened, that this woman might be coming to see her. It was absolutely horrendous. So it really never ends. But I want to, the other side of it is I once blurted out that, oh, your past is like your butt. I had to say bum in Europe, but your past is like your butt. It follows you around wherever you go. You can never get away from it. It's always there. But the trick is to learn to sit on it comfortably. I didn't want to forget to say, I know, so many of us become activists because you need to give back. It's not just a need, it's you have to, because we know how it is. And Peter, my husband now, Peter and I have started something called the Sunny Center, which I'd all like you to hear more about on Saturday. But anyway, what we do is we advise young activists. Every year we're asked to talk to this class for activists, and we tell them that you have to do everything you can, of course, to make this a better world and to help right the wrongs and the injustices. But in the end of the day, and this is, I wanted to say it to all of us, guess this is something I learned, and again, I blurted out one day, but when it all is said and done, every day, and you say to yourself, is there anything more I could do like today to make things better? No. Okay, then enjoy your life. Go and plant your garden. Listen to beautiful music. Take somebody else's kid to the playground, because we're all too old now to have the little kids. You know, I mean, something that fills you up. That's the thing, because that hole will always be there. But, you know, like your wedding ring is a hole, but it's a circle. So this is the circle that's around the hole, and you can fill that hole with things that make you happy. Just have to find them. So, you know, this is a good start. I'm so happy. So happy you're all here.